Hello everyone and welcome back to Tommy's Celtic Talk, where last night, as I'm sure some of you are just finding out in the morning or when you went to bed and looked at your phone, Facebook, whatever you found it on, maybe you type up Celtic, news coming in. And I looked at it before I went to bed and I was like, this must be a joke. Brendan Rodgers has resigned. And not just Brendan Rodgers, but John Kennedy as well. And it was 27 years for the club, John Kennedy. And then straight away, it isn't like we're trying to find interns and managers. Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney come in, and they're going to take charge of the team, I'd say at least past the semi-final of the League Cup against Rangers, and maybe this Dundee game, or not Dundee, Falkirk, on Wednesday. Now, what I think has probably happened here is Ange Postecoglou has got sacked from Nottingham Forest. The results haven't been going our way with Brendan Rodgers. The board obviously don't like his comments of Ferrari and fucking Ford Fiesta or whatever it is, right? And they're not liking these wee digs, this like, oh, you can't blame me, just blame the board. He's taking no responsibility at all. When you expect a manager, usually fucking the board paying his wage, he'd come out with like, oh, look, at the end of the day, I'm the manager, like, and these are the players I'm dealt with, and I'm responsible for getting results for this football. The usual stuff you hear. But he wasn't doing any of that. He wasn't taking any responsibility for it. And this obviously was taken off the board, And I think they've gave him an ultimatum. So, something like, look, Brendan, you've done great for this club, but we're not happy with your comments. We see Ange is available there. You seem out of ideas. And this is true. They offered him a contract. And apparently he knocked it back because he was like, oh, well, I still need to think about it. But then he was going on press conference saying, oh, well, I haven't even been offered a contract at the end of the 3 years yet. So they have that sort of thing going on. They say it in their statement, that was an absolute lie. So you don't know who to believe there, right? But we do know Brendan Rodgers, he likes a wee fucking move away, with Leicester. Now, I think his plan here was maybe win the treble or do well in Europe, win the league, obviously. Have a genuinely good season, and then try and aim for a Premier League job. And he could have, this could be the truth as well, where Derek McInnes has put the fear of God into him, where he's beat this Celtic team 3-1. He sees his team 8 points behind now, and Rangers, who were miles away the whole season, was laughing about with them. They're only 5 points behind us now. And it could be the fact that he sees the sinking ship and he doesn't have the balls to get us out of this. Now, I thought Brendan Rodgers would have got the team by the what's the saying? By the neck? No, something like that anyway. No, but by the balls? No. But he would have grabbed them anyway, and he would have been like, look, we need to eradicate this. We need to show these fans that we're not only passionate, we can get ourselves out of the woods when the chips are down. Let's show these fans, you know what I mean? Let's show these fans that have given up on us what we're all about, that we can still do a job. And I genuinely thought, I knew it wasn't going to be like a season like one of our best ever seasons, but I did think we'd be able to fucking, dig ourselves out of the mud a bit. And it tells me something like he just doesn't have that faith in him. Like, it's all good when you have your Scott Sinclairs, your Dembélés, Rangers have your Joey Barton, Sandoras, Joe Garner, and we're romping the league and the cups, and it's all going good. You win your trebles, and then Europe, he's like, well, look, at the end of the day, we can get into the Champions League, but you look at the money these teams are playing. It's all sort of casual, you can just come out with these comments, way into it, next year you get your wage. But what happens domestically when it starts to fall apart? Now, we've had a big injury crisis. We could have signed in more players, yes, but they did sign in Shin Yamada, Balikwisha, Tanekti, You get in Yamura, the left back, Sorachi. Can I centre backs? Right back. Donovan came in from youth, but still, like it's like a new player. We haven't seen him too much before over in the youth team. Negrin, who's been fucking probably the best signing we had. Even though he's I don't know if I like him or hate him. And look, they did these signings. Now, other than Tanakti, Negrin, Sorachi as well, I like him. A lot of duds in there. Like, I watched Shin Yamada. I actually heard Lenny, he was all like, he can play a bit, him. I was thinking, can he? He got about, 2 chances? He only had no speed. He had a 1v1, he fucked about. Donovan put in a great ball. Instead of sliding in, he was just pointing at his feet, like, hit the ball at my feet. I'm thinking, like, that's why Brendan Rodgers wasn't playing him. Like, Johnny Kenny, he can't really hit a barn door at the minute, but, like, at least he's trying. He's running about like a fucking headless chicken. And that's, Celtic fans are sort of, we like that, you know, like, you look at your Johnny Hayeses and all, like, you know, we like a player, you know, even if he doesn't have, you know, the ability of, like, a Larson, if he's running about, you know, busting his balls, we sort of sympathise with it, especially a cheaper player like him. We're like, look, he's playing the card he was dealt. You know, like he's in an awkward situation here where you have no Kyogo, you have no Iheanacho, and no Maeda, and you're just stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you have to be leading the team. Like, and that isn't his fault at the end of the day, and he's doing about as good as he could do. But this team here, it's not a patch on last year. And I think an Ange, he would revel this opportunity. If he came back, he would look at this team here and he would think, well, this all fell apart, 8 points behind. And I think it would get the fans behind us as well, an appointment like Ange, because you can't say he isn't an exciting manager. He did win the Europa League with Tottenham, so you know he can do it in Europe. That Tottenham team wasn't anything impressive. So, look, it's a long shot, but in a perfect world, for me, I want 2 weeks nostalgia, Martin O'Neill, Sean Maloney, where I know Martin O'Neill, he doesn't do training. He always sort of let his backroom staff do the training, and he would do his team talks. Sort of like the assistants would report back to him before, you know, the match or the day before, and then he would sort of write up his wee team talk, and he would write out, you know, the team for that. But he would sort of let them do the training. So he would leave that to Sean Maloney, and Sean Maloney would know he did all right with was it Belgium? He was assistant. They call it Martinez, and he did all right there. So, like, he'd be all right for that. And I don't mind. See, people are like, oh, John Kennedy, he's leaving. John Kennedy, like, he was part of all the fucking teams that went wrong. I know he was part of the teams that went right as well, but, like, he said once in a press conference, forget which manager was actually in charge at the time. I think it was Lenny. But he was all, see, the problem at the minute is the defence. And this is a problem that needs to be dealt with. It's just not good enough. And I'm thinking, you're a defender. You're obviously the defensive coach. So you're the problem here, and you've got your nose turned up, saying the defence is the problem. You're the defensive fucking coach, John. So I don't mind him going. I want a new team in. If it is Ange or somebody of that ilk, I don't want like a Scott Brown or something coming in. I love Scott Brown, but like I don't want it to be something like that. I think we can do better. I don't think we're in crisis like the COVID season. You look at it, we're still in the League Cup, still in the Scottish Cup, still very much in the Europa League. The top 8's maybe out the window, but you know, we're still in a good position to qualify if we get our act together. And the league, we're still in the league. There's 29 games to go, and Hearts have never won a league in 40 odd years, maybe even more. So they will have a collapse like Aberdeen. Remember Aberdeen? They were doing well. Now they will have a collapse. So if we can stay within about 7, 8 points, 9, even 10, they will have a collapse at some stage. It's just if we completely fall apart, they have a chance. And this is why I'm not actually too upset about this. I'm thinking, Martin O'Neill, it'd give a good nostalgia effect for the fans. I think it'd be something we did need to change, didn't we? So to give something to the fans heading into the game tomorrow, and especially the cup as well. Like I heard some people fucking on like the Facebook sort of comments, and he was all, I've put a tenner on 6-2 to Celtic, because Martin O'Neill got that 6-2 game. Your Larson, Suttons and all, everybody's putting into wee tweets like, oh, Kim Cohen, Henrik Larsson, let's get the band back together. And it's like, you know, you're sort of seeing like the Celtic fans sort of more chilled out about it. So I think everybody sort of is happy enough with this decision. Whether it is a secret sack or a resignation from Brendan Rodgers, I think the resignation's a bit more respect, because there should be respect put on his name. He did a lot of good for the club, but we did need to change. And I think for everybody involved here, I think this was the best decision. But we'll see tomorrow night. We'll see how we get on. I'll do a video. I'm going to let the games play. I'm not going to do a video on Falkirk. I'm going to let Falkirk game come out. I'm going to let that League Cup semi-final. We'll let that go, and I'll do a video sort of seeing how we are. Fingers crossed we get the old Martin O'Neill mojo back. Like it's 2000, you know what I mean? But we'll see anyway. Hail, hail.